morning and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folari. I'm back fresh, compliments of the season. Well, unfortunately, the topic is not a particularly happy one. I mean, we're talking about the situation over in Benue. The crisis, that is how it will be seen in Benue, that's ongoing there. It's not exactly a new story, but it seems like almost like an intractable problem, not just in Benue. Adamawa is also there. There are other areas where we have this perennial problem of clashes between Fulani herdsmen and, you know, the natives, the locals. And again, part of the issue is that whole line between the natives and, you know, herdsmen are sort of blurring a bit. Anyway, the Governor Autumn in Benue State, the situation has got to the level where you would have seen the papers this morning. He thinks the federal government has simply abandoned us. We're on our own here. And the governor is saying, I can't preside over dead people. In other words, there must be some action soon. That's the perspective of the governor. But what exactly is going on? Well, we had people in from Benue State probably to give us a better sort of eyewitness account of what actually is going on and what their perspectives are. Of course, it's always invaluable, as you know, on this program, your contributions as well. We will take it when the time comes. Now, our panel this morning is made up of Terence Kwanum. Good morning. He's president of Benue Youth Forum. Thank you very much for joining us. I appreciate it. And compliments of the season to you. Well, Colonel Tony Inyam, retired security consultant and a keen observer of security issues all over the country. Thank you very much, Tony, for coming on as well.
Thank you.
Indeed. And Comrade Abraham Jabi. Comrade Jabi is National Coordinator, Benue Youth Movement for Anti-Corruption and Good Governance. You're very, very welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Of the season to you
Thank
too.
you.
Let me start with you, if I could, Terence, just, you know, because I started with you first. What we've heard this morning, or what we've read in the paper, the anguish of the governor, thinking he's been abandoned, his state, his people have been abandoned. Do you think that was a bit on the emotional side, but sort of hyperbolic so as to call the attention that is necessary, or how would you rate it?
Well, I think
because that the federal government of our country has abandoned us.
Yeah, I think the governor is even fair on his side to say that we've been abandoned. The federal government has turned its back on the people of Benue. And the people of Benue are already aware that what came to them on the New Year Day was a conspiracy between the Fulani people, the federal government, and the government of Nasarawa State. Because from the revolutions that have come after the attacks, we realized that there is a tripartite action that was planned to come and unleash genocide on the people of Benue.
Now,
what is happening in Benue? Relax.
Relax. No, you relax. You relax. One moment.
What is happening in Benue?
I want to put something in perspective.
Yeah.
You relax. I waited for you to reach the full stop so as to hear the entire
No, there's
idea.
no full stop yet.
Okay.
There's no full stop yet.
But to also point out that you are painting a most improbable situation.
No, it's not.
You say there's a conspiracy between the federal government, the Adamawa state
government. No, the Fulani people and the Nasarawa state government.
And the Nasarawa state,
yes.
Did you add the federal government?
The federal government, yes.
And the federal government.
There are three of them. This is a conspiracy of three people to unleash genocide on the Benue people.
Well, that's the point that I said is most improbable.
No, let me tell you the revolution. That's why I say don't hold it.
Okay.
This thing is not a herdsman attack. This is a genocide on the Benue people. And let me tell you, when this attack took place, the federal government, through its actors, like the Inspector General of Police, described this genocide as a communal clash, as if Benue were in a war with his village.
Okay.
The Nasarawa state government, the Arago people are vandalizing the homes that our people have run and left.
Yeah.
Every statement by the police, the military, has been credited to Nasarawa State. When the Nasarawa State sent a delegation to come to the border area, they cared less about what was happening in the border areas affecting us. Then the Fulani people, why we accuse the Fulani people at this moment is that there is a law in Benue, anti-grazing law. So they didn't come to Benue to kill us with their cattle. They came with their guns, their daggers and knives to kill our people.
Okay.
No,
now,
Nasarawa state government has been mentioned in every statement.
Okay.
If you look at these revolutions that have taken place after this, you realize that the federal government has a hand in this, the Nasarawa state government has a hand in this, the Fulani people have a hand in this, to a level they even conscripted our own son. A 74-year-old man could not even stand on his own, on his integrity, to say that this is a husband-farmer's clash. The Minister of Agriculture is from Benue, but because he needs his job more than his people in Benue, he compromised.
Okay, I hear you. Thank you very much. Now, you yourself said that, look, on the one hand, the clashes were referred to as a communal clash, and as far as you are concerned,
the Inspector General referred it as a communal clash.
It's genocide. So what I'm saying there is, you can see that, you know, it's okay. I just wanted to put it in perspective that I hear what you are saying.
Yeah.
I hear what you are saying, but there are other people that don't see it like that. That is without prejudice to your view.
They don't see it because
without prejudice to your view. But
the planned attack came with a narrative.
Okay.
They came and killed our people.
You will have another opportunity because you use many opportunities. Let me now switch across. I'm going to jump over Colonel Inyam because I also want to hear from Comrade Abraham. The same question I asked him, is the governor perhaps sensationalizing a bit when he says Benue has been abandoned?
No.
If care is not taken, I don't want to preside over dead people. And when we go hyperbolic like that, it's because it's a very, very dire situation. Tell me what you feel.
Okay, thank you for that question. The governor of Benue State is not exaggerating any statement. We have facts as far as the issue of killings in Benue State is concerned. You see, before now, series of killings has been taking place in Benue State right from 2013 to date. Immediately the governor came in, what he did, he adopted a diplomatic approach. He looked at the nature and character of the killings in Benue State. Then he now sponsored an executive bill to Benue House of Assembly, or a bill prohibiting anti-open grazing in the state. So now, immediately he sponsored this bill, an association led by the Fulani extraction, the Miati-Ela. They now took the Benue State government to court. The federal government did not say a word, neither the president, who is the grand patron of that association. Again, the same Miati group now said they are going to converge on the Benue soil, right? They are going to converge on Benue soil to resist that law in all its ramifications. Mr. President did not say the word. So, if we look at the statement, these hate speeches, and the inciting statements, also the claims by the Miati-Ela that they owns the Benue Valley, the president, who is the grand patron, did not say the word. So now, what I'm trying to establish here is there's a synergy between the federal government and Mr. President. Because if you start from the federal government, you equally arrive at the Mr. President. If you start from there, you also arrive at him. And the point of emphasis here is being the president and also the association of that group, right? There's every possibility that he would have said a word. He said nothing.
Okay, well,
and
as far as you
wait,
know.
I'm coming. Wait, I'm coming.
As far as you know.
Wait, I'm coming.
Because unless you tell me that you're also privy to, you know.
Sorry, I'm coming, please.
Discussions in the background. Because I can't imagine that the federal government is turning a blind eye to all of it,
Listen.
not doing anything, not lifting its little finger, but I understand it's an impassioned subject.
Listen, let me give you some of the examples. You see, in southern Kaduna, there is a task force operation there called the Yakin. In Plateau, we have the Heaven, right? So, in Benue State, if we also look at the case in Niger Delta, the pipeline vendors, there's a task force there. And a place where they're killing, series of killings. Okay. You are talking of sending police. You did not say the word.
But
so
no task
that is
force
why
in situations like
yes,
like
there's no in Benue State.
herdsmen,
yes,
no
there's no
task
in Benue
force
State.
against them.
And And one thing here that is very fundamental and central here is the claims by the Fulanese went beyond ordinary grazing. Even if you look at the back in the dark ages, you discover that even the movement of the jihadist war, you know, the history tells us that this war was defeated along the Shongo Hills, close to Cameroon. So there's no iota of truth on whatever they said that they owned the Benue Valley before the arrival of the Tea or any other nationalities in that. Their grand patron did not say the word. So if the governor is lamenting that the federal government has given a deaf ears, maybe he's rather being too soft.
Okay.
In fact, they have neglected the Benue community.
Okay. Well, we got this perspective. Now, Colonel Inyam, I listened to, did I listen? Or, no, I think I was on the BBC Hausa website. The translation there showed that when BBC contacted the herdsmen, they were saying that, look, all these things going on, it's because when we were about to leave peacefully, some people got together and dispossessed us of our cattle, and you know that's our essence. And so really what happened was little more than self-defense. We have a right to defend ourselves. Now, well, every Nigerian will hear that and know what they want to make of that. As I said, it was on the BBC Hausa website that I saw that. How do we arrive at resolving this issue so that the killings can stop, so that people can, we can say with determination that, look, this land belongs to this, and you know, this is not your land, that kind of a thing. The whole matter of ranching, where are we going to, there's so many different aspects. What do you think? What is the problem? Why are we just coming back to television and radio and the newspapers and telling this story over and over and over again with more and more killings?
The first response is that there are two levels. In terms of policy making, and or corresponding to that, higher national security management, the president goofed. Goofed in the sense that, first of all, you do not, when you have armed, sophisticatedly armed invaders, and as confirmed by Governor El-Rufai and Governor of Kano State to this program, which I was earlier, that most of those people are foreigners. You do not confront with police action. So that tactics is wrong and it sends wrong signals. I see a situation of double standard.
You mean, well, if they are foreigners, then bringing police action to bear.
No. I said if they are foreign armed.
If they are armed foreigners.
Invaders.
Or armed foreign invaders.
Yes. To send police, it's wrong tactics.
Okay.
And you could even hear the DIG with DIG operations is saying the terrain. The police are not trained to go off track.
So it was the job for the army?
It's the army. And the Buhari knows. He's a general. You can't use police action. Two, the double standard you see, when there's political will, the guy who masterminded the killing in Rivers is dead because they sent in the army. So, if you don't have, that's two, double standard. The third thing is this. It's a simple case of an armed assault on a community by a stranger. This is reduced by the leader of the operation, the AIG, the IG, to say it is two fighting. Are we fools? No, I think the IG is underestimating our intelligence.
So why is, from what you're saying, I would call it, just taking exactly what you have said, why therefore is all this sophistry going on?
Indeed. The whole thing is this. That is why I want to move forward, because lives are being lost. I'm appealing to President Buhari himself to rise up to the occasion.
Okay, but even before that, what is the problem? And I think this is at the heart of it.
Yes.
Why is it that it's sort of difficult to call a spade in this whole affair? What's the problem right there?
No,
difficult as it may be.
Let me say this. I can only say that I use the word there are allegations that there's conflict of interest. And I think the president needs to work hard to defend himself against that allegations.
Okay. Now, the president being the president of the republic, also, as you said,
It's a life patron
of
the life patron
well,
of
I
the
mean,
Mayati.
look, anybody can, you know how it is. People can appoint anybody anything. Just saying that the president also, you know, is a cattle farmer. We saw his ranch.
No, the president.
No.
We saw his
There's
ranch.
a perspective we are living here.
What I'm saying is
There's a
that
perspective.
I don't know how much
There's a
we should
perspective.
make of the fact that our president also coincidentally happens to be the president of some farming group.
Let's take this
The
systematically
president, the
here.
president is the life patron of all Nigerians. He should,
Yes,
he should behave
yes,
as such.
yes. Okay,
At the
okay.
moment, at the moment he appears. The perception is that he is not saying anything. It's dangerous for his government.
I don't think it's about the
wait,
president saying something. The president did not only say something when the herdsmen attacked Zamfara. The following day, the president was in Zamfara. He monitored the situation and set up a military task force of herdsmen monitoring the entire Northwest. You asked a question about how will this thing end. The global terrorism index already has declared the herdsmen as the fourth most dangerous terrorist group. The federal government is refusing to declare them terrorist group. And the people attacking us, we know them because their leader Gololo made a press statement that they attacked Benue to kill people because they stole 1,000 cows from them. How will you rustle 1,000 cows? Then no animal, not even humans, could see 1,000 cows moving anywhere. Then you wake up and decide to make that kind of accusation because you came and unleashed genocide on the people of Benue. We know who attacked us. We know what is supposed to be done. The Mayati leadership should be arrested. They should be declared a terrorist group.
Well, you know, Abraham, I wonder if you can think of it, if you can conceive of the idea that, look, there is a difference between Boko Haram and the Fulani cattle herdsmen. And perhaps that informs the one, you said they declined to declare them terrorists.
A terrorist group.
You know, two, the colonel said that send police action. Isn't all of this indicating that, look, it's an internal squabble, which you can't say about Boko Haram, for instance. Those ones want territory. Those ones want their own administration. They want their own governance. It's a totally different affair. Those people are attacking the integrity of our nation. Might you understand why, at the highest of places, they might say, let's cool, guys.
It's not internal.
No.
It's not internal. Two governors, I've just said it over and over. Two governors, El Rufai confirmed that they come from Cameroon when he was defending his position. And
okay.
these
Fulanis we're dealing with are not Nigerian Fulanis.
No, he said when he was trying to pay some money.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
He said they were coming from outside the country. El Rufai said so clearly.
That they were coming to.
That the invaders came from Cameroon. Meaning
that they are non-Nigerian Fulanis.
Indeed. Today in channels, the governor of Kanu made the same remark.
Okay, sorry, I interrupted
you. Okay, wait.
So,
I'm interested.
Because the colonel jumped in to answer that question. Maybe you could also...
I wanted to add something, because I'm much interested. When you are trying to give an analysis, you are asking how is it complex or difficult to call a spade as far as this issue is concerned. One, why we are stating this point straight here is that what the governor said was not the issue of exaggeration whatsoever. You see, we have facts as far as this issue is concerned. When these people threatened the Benue community, I could remember very well, even my organization wrote an open letter to Mr. President. The governor wrote a letter to Mr. President in June and also in October. We saw no actions as far as this issue is concerned. And just as this colonel has just mentioned, this is not an ordinary president, it's an ex-general. He would have known clearly that this is a threat. Something is about to happen. We wrote all the sociocultural organizations in Benue State, they wrote, the TIF, the IDOMA, the combinations, and all the interest groups. they wrote to Mr. President. Open letters in national papers and letters to the governor of the state.
And this would be in addition to the security, the intelligence forces doing their
nothing
work.
has been done.
So it's not as if the federal government is unadvised
about
what's going on.
No, wait. I'm coming. The Bono community, as far as the Bono community, were bittered over this issue. And we're not being sentimental. We're talking with facts and figures here. You see, people are not giving the concrete information. It is so disheartening for IG to come and say a communal clash.
Okay.
These are
this rankles. This rankles.
So
because you feel that is painting it in a totally
in a different dimension.
Light.
Yes, in a different dimension altogether.
To limit. Because
what is said, that is why when I was presenting my analysis here, I said there's a synergy. We cannot be talking of the federal government. We're talking this directly to Mr. President. Because let me ask you this question. You are the president of this, let's consider this whole as a nation. You are the president. You have foot soldiers on ground. They have given you information, this thing is coming up. You did not say a word. So if that thing happens, who is going to be accused?
Okay.
Won't they accuse you?
Okay, I see what you're saying.
And structurally,
I see what you're saying. The problem here, you know, one of the problems
is the president.
Yes,
structurally.
How I wish now the way the conversation is going and needs to go, how I wish I had a federal government spokesperson here, because it's inconceivable really that the president will know of a clear and present danger to any Nigerian and turn a blind eye. That much, I think everybody here can concede.
Yes, it's very important and
everybody here will concede. So what's going on here? I'm wondering if we are all of us suffering from a lack of information for whatever reason they decide to enforce that lack. Because in addition to what you have said and all the communications that have gone, the governor has gone, the federal government itself has its own ways and means of getting information as to what's going on. So this leads me to imagine that the federal government is not ignorant about what is going on.
No,
yeah, he's not.
Yeah, no, I led a protest in Abuja.
Not.
When the threats came in, I personally submitted a letter to the IG office. I did to the Senate President, who is the chairman of the National Assembly. So the problem I wrote an open letter to the Chief of Army Staff, informing them of this threat. Shortly after, all our ethnic leadership brought out a communique highlighting the level of killings that have taken place in Benue in the last 6 years. They gave all these letters to the president, to the Senate, to the National Assembly leadership, to the security chiefs in this country, that this is going to happen. Then there are secret memos by leaders of Benue that have been written to the president. The president himself has acknowledged. And you were talking about land issues. This issue has to do with land. Because why would they come to Kaduna and go to Kaduna South? Why would they go to Adamawa and go to Adamawa South? And then we in Plateau, and you see that they are trying to secure the Christian settlement in the Middle Belt, to secure it to themselves. Well, there's nothing to pretend about this.
Well, this is how a lack of information can be quite dangerous, because imagining without conceding that the scenario you presented is real, that would go against everything that the federal government is interested in fostering.
It is real
in this country.
It is real.
Yeah. This is why
you are doing an ethnic cleansing in Nigeria when you're fighting anti-corruption.
Again,
what corruption is worse than the killing of a race?
Well,
corruption?
We recognize that this is an impassioned subject, but things like ethnic cleansing, the wiping out of a race, people are angry. So these things will come out, but we must put them in the right perspective.
There are practical things that had happened on ground.
No, we must put them in the right. Ethnic cleansing. Ethnic cleansing is a bit harsh.
When we had an anti-open grazing law in Benue, they moved to Nasarawa. They moved to Cross River State. There was no killing in Nasarawa State, but there were killings in 5 communities in Cross River State. What will that tell you? Because they cannot be a mixture of Muslims and Christians in Cross River State. So the selection will not be there. These things are black and white. They didn't attack people. Anytime they are attacking us, they are Arago people. will come vandalizing our people.
Well,
on top of, because they are running and leaving their homes for their lives.
Well, I hear you. Let's cool this down a bit.
Until we say these things in black and white, these issues cannot be resolved.
We will say them in black and white, as you say, but we need to be circumspect. I'm very, very uncomfortable. I cannot lecture you because you are there. You know where the shoe pinches. But at the same time, we just have to understand that we have to be careful with words and concepts.
Yeah, you're right. Because let me add something here, please.
Because all of this is very, very hurtful. Now, one of the most important things
is how to solve the problem.
Thank you.
Now,
that's where we need to get to. What are the ideas that are not being taken advantage of?
Can I say, towards a solution, first, immediately, the president should move away from the police action and have a proper joint task force by military to go in the immediate. Because not doing that is a failure on his part. Secondly, the president should immediately, in the long run, have a meeting of all the stakeholders so that the matter can be resolved in the long term. And at the moment, the way the president is doing nothing about it is leading to killings of both farmers and even to the Fulanis.
Okay, nothing about it by your lights, as you see it.
Pardon?
By your lights. That is as you see it.
That is not doing anything about it?
Yes.
Can I answer you?
No. I'm saying that is your summation.
It's not as I see it. Nobody has said here. Governor Samuel Ortom went to the president. Your station showed him. He saw the president in that small office when the rat pushed him in that small office. Sam Ortom with the president shook his hand after he came back. He reported the case. How did he report it? How did I know that? When he came out in Aso Rock, he said so. He warned that there is plan to attack. You see, if you know this governor, is a kind of a redeemed man who is I know. During minister in Jonathan, he never opened his mouth once.
Okay, one moment. I think somebody wants to join the conversation. Good morning, Mr. George.
Good morning, Uncle Yori. Happy New Year. It's nice to see you again after your long leave.
Thank you very much. Compliments of the season to you too.
Thank you. Same to you. Uncle Yori, please give me a few seconds to say what I want to say on this subject.
Sure.
Anyone in the shoes of Benue indigents, like the ones in front of you there, would react the same way as the anger I'm seeing, with them there. So what is happening in Benue? But I wouldn't want to agree with their belief that the president is carrying out, a selected genocide in Benue. The president has no reason to do that. Benue people voted for Buhari in the last election. I don't see any reason why the president should be selective in, maltreating anybody. You can accuse the president of slow decision-making. Take, for example, Uncle Yori, the issue of IPOB. We know how long it took the president to address it. I'm not saying slow decision-making is a credible thing to do. Mm-hmm. We can say he does not take decisions quickly. But that because associating him with the leadership of Miye Tiala, and that is the reason why he's not addressing herdsmen issue, particularly in Benue State, that cannot be true. Herdsmen, generally, as I see it, Uncle Yori, if you look at it, Benue is the first northern state that has made a law against grazing.
No.
These herdsmen appear to be waging a war against government's intention to regulate grazing in Nigeria. They are only starting from there. If you doubt, you will see if they are not quickly addressed, they will take this attack to other states in the country. Okay. Let us not narrow it to Benue State and begin to put sentiments as if the president has some people he favors more than others. That is not the issue. Okay. The government should give it a holistic approach. Mm-hmm. I see herdsmen waging or declaring a war against Nigeria because of the likelihood that other states might regulate grazing.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good point.
Yeah, good point.
But Taraba also has the law.
Yes.
It's not only Benue.
Yes.
And if the attack is on the people, that are promulgated the anti-open grazing law, why are they not taking the attacks to Edo? That is why we have made our own research. We have known how the attacks have been coming in systematically. We knew what happened in Southern Kaduna. We are all aware of it. We knew what happened in Plateau State. If we look at the territorial boundaries of Southern Kaduna, it's easy to enter through Plateau. It's easy to enter through Nasarawa. That is where they settle. And where they are settling to go and attack all these 3 states, they are not attacking the places. We have farms in Nasarawa State. Why are they not having issues with the people of Nasarawa State? That is why we are accusing the government of Nasarawa State of being complicit in these issues.
Okay, one
because
moment.
That is the base of attack of Southern Kaduna,
okay.
of Plateau State, and of Benue State.
I want to react to...
Could you please just hold the thought? Let me bring in another caller. Good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you for calling in, sir.
Good morning, Uncle Yori, and good morning to your guest.
Indeed.
I'm Isha Kaiwa, and I'm calling from Jos.
You're very welcome.
Compliments of the season, Uncle Yori.
Thank you. Compliments of the season to you too.
All right. The 2 youth leaders to me are old men. They don't look like a youth to me. So, however, that is on the lighter mood. I would like to sympathize with Benue people over the killing. There is any loss of life, regardless of the ethnic or religion or such people. I think it's unfortunate. And I think the federal government has to speak up to guarantee the security of life and property. I think the last few years, many people have lost several lives. So I would like to agree with the retired colonel here that the military, there should be a military action. But however, I want to disagree with the mind of the position of the youth leaders that federal government is supporting the killing. There's no how federal government or the presidency will support killings of any ethnic or religious group. Even in Nasarawa State, where the youth leaders claim there's a collabo between the Nasarawa State, we have several Christians. I don't know, maybe the percentage of Christian Muslim population in Nasarawa State should be around 40-60%. So I would like to discourage the religious coloration of this attack. So, however, the federal government should sit up and try to address this situation as soon as possible. That's my tip. Have a wonderful day.
Indeed. Thank you very, very much for calling in. I've got to go to a break now, and I'll come back and I'll start with you.
All right.
Stay with us, please. We'll be right back. Welcome back, and we're looking at the subject of the Benue, the sad subject of the Benue killings, and indeed the outcry of Governor Ortom that, you know, we're being abandoned here. The federal government has abandoned us, and we've been looking at that, and we've been getting perspectives on the whole matter. We've also been cautioned that, look, people being quite empathetic, that, look, if I were there and I were from Benue, don't expect much less from me. But at the same time, might we not be, maybe exercise a bit more care before adding more explosive situations to an already explosive one? So the religion, the ethnic cleansing charges and all of these things might be understandable, but could we please, you know, be as circumspect as we can? Now, you wanted to say something, sir.
Yes, I wanted to say something. I wanted to react to one of the first callers, from Mr. George.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
You see,
okay.
You see,
yeah, he counseled, for instance, seeing if we could take explosives like religion out of the mix.
Yeah, sentimental.
Or thinking that Mr. President being the life patron of...
Yeah. So I want to react to that. You see, we're not being sentimental here. If you could recall, when we started giving an analysis here, a presentation here of how it happened and the effort we have done so far, any other person being in the shoes of the Benue people, you said the same thing. We're not being sentimental. Because it is what somebody put a threat to your life. You reported this to appropriate quarters. And the same thing happened. The same thing that this person has put as a threat to your life, to your community, you reported to the head of the family. I'm talking of the head of the family now here. The head of the family here, I'm referring to Mr. President, who is the head of the family, the Niger as a family. So now, and the same thing happened. So I don't see any sentiment in these presentations because they threatened the Benue people and they still fulfill their promise.
Yes.
That was the New Year package they give to the Benue community. After the governor reported, after all the interest groups reported, my group equally wrote to Mr. President and appropriate quarters. The same thing repeats on the New Year. So there's no sentiment here. We're trying to put the facts straight here. So that is why I said, as the head of the family, that's why I said, as the head of the family, if we're giving deaf ears to whatever is going on, any accusation will be given to you. That is why I still stand and I still insist that this is going directly to the Mr. President.
Okay.
Because his decision, as far as the issues of Benue killings, we don't like it.
Decision or non-decision?
Non-decision, rather.
Okay, Mr. Kendo in Kaduna, good morning.
Yes, how are you?
Very well, sir. Good morning.
Yeah, Yori, how are you doing?
Same here. I'm very well, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, please.
Good, good. Complaints of the season.
Yes, I want to put things right. And let us not run a pretentious program. Hello?
We can hear you.
Okay. Right. So when we say the correct thing, people don't like it, but that is the main issue. When you look at Southern Kaduna, where is the problem existing is the Christian-dominated area. When you go to Benue State, where is the issue going on? It's a Christian-dominated area. You look at Plateau State where I am, it's a Christian-dominated area. You go to Adamawa, Numan is a Christian-dominated area. Yori, you need to ask question. What is going on here? Is it a religious issue or just we have been expressing sentiments? Until we are able to hit the nail at the head and come out this thing, religious war and crisis is imminent. And so one day, one of you are called discussing.
Kendo, all right. Thank you very much for calling in. What Kendo has done really has been to underline what both you gentlemen, especially you, have already said. It's like saying that, look, he's not alone. And as he started, let's get real here. So this was, what do you think of this, Colonel? This perspective of keeping it real, how real is that? When Mr. George called in the other time, he had said, look, Mr. President, there are times when in frustration you might think that it really takes his time to make a decision. You know, that is to say, you know, it's not the fastest decision.
I think part of the thing is this.
That might be there.
Just a minute. Part of the thing is that there's issue of competence.
But perhaps there's the issue of communication as well.
Competence.
Perhaps they're not communicating what is being done.
Just a minute. There's issue of competence too, in that, as exemplified by the board appointments, the president is not a man. Is a man who lacks eye for details. And at times, if you go by the advice he gets, is what he gets he acts on, because the president needs to be better informed. Because I wouldn't have thought that if a president had a paper from the NSC saying, Mr. President, we have a crisis here, that paper from an NSC wouldn't have advised him that he should do police action. So there's issue of competence. Also, the president is an old man. Thirdly, the president...
The president is not the oldest man in existence.
Yeah, but it's so far...
I mean, unless you are saying that the president, as far as you're concerned, because of his age is incompetent, which I don't think you would even, that's not what you're saying.
No.
So how old is the president? When you bring it in that the president is an old man, I wondered if that was irrelevant. I wondered if that was irrelevant to what we're talking about.
I'm saying that the management of the crisis, there is all, you can see all the incompetencies.
Okay.
No, I want to clear one impression here.
Yes.
The president is never slow in action on what he wants. I gave you an instance of Zamfara.
So whether he's an old man or not, your concept is that if he wants it,
when he wants,
there's no problem.
They attacked Zamfara in Northwest where he comes from. The president the next day was in Zamfara State.
You made that point.
And he never left Zamfara until a military task force on herdsmen crisis in the entire Northwest was in place before he left.
So the impression you are getting is that the president is not equal-handed in these matters.
No,
That's the impression you're getting.
Yeah.
And
No,
that's the
he's
impression
not.
that you're also getting.
Yeah.
And the man in Plateau does not understand how a 2-year child will be butchered into two.
Nobody anywhere in the world.
When it happened in Plateau, at least they have an Operation Safe Haven guiding them there. What operation do we have in Benue?
Okay. Wait a minute. Sorry, sir. Christopher Kaduna, good morning.
Hello?
Good morning, Christopher.
Good morning.
Okay, please go ahead.
How are you?
Very well, Christopher. Compliments of the season.
The truth of the allegation is what your panel are talking about is simple true.
Well, yeah, you being a Christopher and all. Christopher?
Because if you look at the killings, most of the killings are in the Christian-dominated area. So we have...
it's unfortunate the dimension this conversation is taking is quite frankly unfortunate, but that is not, it's not a criticism. Because I wouldn't be surprised if there were Muslims, for instance, that say, let's be a bit more reasoned here. Maybe there are even Christians who can be, say, let's be a bit more reasoned here. But what you have to say is what you have to say. You will only say it the way you see it. So that's the way you're supposed to call it.
To be fair, even the Sultan has once criticized these killings, Sultan of Sokoto. Secondly, yesterday, the president of Ariwa Youth Forum, a guy, came out and also criticized the president for inaction. So it's not an issue of religion matter as such. I think
it's not.
Yes,
but it's not. No, and that's where we started from the beginning of the program. What are the solutions that are being ignored?
Declare them a terrorist group and let's face them like that. When the president made his New Year's speech and he was talking about terrorism in this country, he mentioned Boko Haram and kidnapping. Is kidnapping more dangerous than these attacks?
In fact,
that is to tell you that it's a conscious effort, and because he gifted them of removing them from the list, they attacked us that day.
Okay, even if that is the case, I'm just wondering, surely not every last Fulani herdsman is guilty of...
Not at all.
Not every last Fulani herdsman.
I can even...
So, to now say that Fulani herdsmen as a group...
No, can I say? Like I said earlier, a Fulani peacemaker, herdsman, in my community was killed because of stereotyping.
Yes. Which is what we're trying to avoid here.
Indeed. I'm calling on President Buhari, and I'm saying to him as my senior that his inaction is leading to lives being lost both by Fulanis and farmers. That the president needs to rise up to.
In just in case he didn't know it.
He should know it now.
Which I suspect he already knows. Yeah, the president has all the intelligence. Yeah, but then he knows all these things.
They should stop the pretending.
The intelligence on the issue of herdsmen, and as when intelligence comes of impending attacks on the issue of herdsmen, all the doors of intelligence offices in this country are locked up, so that the attacks will go on.
To add to that, to that, before I do that,
Mr. Yakub, I'll be right with you.
I could say that the governor of Benue State once says, and I quote, "If we borrow democracy from U.S., why can't we borrow ranchings from them?" Right? So now, the Mr. President ranches all his livestock. Let him embrace the anti-open grazing law, the one in Benue State, and let him also give our governor a presidential award to indicate that he has accepted the ranches. Because, one, open grazing and farming cannot coexist. Because in as much as the Miati were talking of freedom of movement, the Constitution also states that the trespass is there, right? So by the time they ranch all their cattle, they embrace the anti-open grazing law, just as the Mr. President too ranches all his livestock. I think the issue of Fulani killings, herdsman killings.
But as you know, almost by definition, you know, Fulani herdsmen are almost by definition nomadic.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is the essence. That is who they are.
Yes,
they are nomadic. That is those Fulanis. Bush Fulanis.
Do you know what we're saying? Do you know what I'm saying? Is they are being supported by a recognized group, the Miati Allah. Because wait, when this killing was going on, the anti-open grazing law was in place, right?
Yes.
So the Miati era.
Yes.
They now come out to criticize that law. Yes. So that clearly shows that the Miati, the Cattle Breeders Association, they know these people. So the only thing here is to ranch.
Okay. I'm going to come back to that point. Yakub, can I just thank you very, very much for holding on all that while. Good morning, sir, and compliments of the season.
Same to you, sir. Welcome back to the very good program, and then the only program that gives us opportunity to bear our mind. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And then good morning to the gentleman in the studio.
Thank you.
Now starting by saying that I quite agree with Mr. George that called earlier. See, Mr. President, you can only blame Mr. President for not taking decision in time in every issue. It's not always taking decision in time. That is what you can blame Mr. President for. But for you to say Mr. President is backing all these people, I don't agree with that. But if you know this thing is going to continue if you don't do something. One of the gentlemen in the studio have already said it earlier. This thing is they are going to put stop to it until they declare these people as a terrorist.
Yes.
If you don't declare them as a terrorist, it's going to continue for the long time. Why do you want to call somebody that is invaded a village and killing so many people rather than declare them as a terrorist? If you don't declare them as a terrorist, this is going to continue. Okay, let me give you a clear example, Sivjori. In the River State, maybe 3 days ago, somebody as a cultist, he perpetrates evil, and then military and joint task force and police, they press the guy to Enugu State, and then they apprehended the guy, even they killed the guy, and brought his corpse back to the River State. If they can do that to a single cultist, and then make sure that they got the guy killed, what do you go to call the X-Man? The truth must be saying here. I particularly support Mr. President. Up to tomorrow, I think people support him. But this thing is going to continue until they declare this people as a terrorist. Thank you, and God bless you, sir.
Thank you very much, Yakub. And once again, thank you for holding on that marathon. Hold on. We really appreciate it, you know, because he understood the studio.
Yeah.
So, well, this is what we want is for what Yakub just said to not come to pass. That is to say, this thing is going to continue. And that is what you gentlemen are saying too.
Yeah.
That it is going to continue unless something decisive is done. And part of the problem here...
And then we smell a rat somewhere.
Yeah, because
that's
part of the problem.
Towards the end of the year, you know, the council, the National Economic Council willingly donated $1 billion for the fight against terrorists. And then on the New Year's speech, that we were thinking, because before this, the Global Terrorism Index has declared the herdsmen as the 4th most terrorized group in the world. You understand? Now, in the President's New Year's speech, he removed the herdsmen from the list of terrorist killings in Nigeria and brought only Boko Haram.
And kidnapping.
It means that this $1 billion that we have generously donated for the fight against terrorists, the herdsmen will not even be affected. Yes. It means they will go free. Then our people will be dying on a daily basis. We're not going to take it from Mr. President.
I'm sure.
And then there's a message from Benue that he needs to really, really know.
If the President himself is not listening, as he might well not be, his men are listening.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because it's important that perhaps they didn't have the perspective that is going out there. Sure. Sometimes they say that they're so isolated from the issue, they don't know the results. That's what they say. But then again, that's what intelligence is supposed to be for, to bring far-flung places back in, so people know what people are thinking, what people are saying.
And what's the shame? They belong to the same party. The APC leadership should not make the mistake they made with the appointment of board members, to say that to distance themselves from the president. The party has a responsibility, because they are governing, to go to the president to do what is necessary.
So there's a political aspect. In fact, it's on all fronts.
You know,
it's on all fronts.
The political party is the ruling party.
Yeah.
They are also involved. They cannot leave the matter only to the president, especially when the president is failing in this matter.
Mazi Okoroafo, good morning and compliments of the season.
Good morning, sir. Welcome back. You look so fresh and look charming.
Thank you very kindly.
Honestly, as a woman said that, let me just catch up. Honestly, you're welcome. You see, we are good in publicizing bad things like wildfire. We are good in chasing symptoms instead of root causes or cause of problems. Now, you ask yourself, where are the youth leaders in our areas? Where are the traditional rulers? Where are the opinion leaders and government sycophants that makes it instead of them to face reality? You see, we must stop any crisis instead of looking for the solutions. Let me tell you, I chose 2001 in practice. I told my students when I was listening, I said, look, anything that will bring a problem in the environment, all of you in this very lecture room should try as much as possible and stop it. Because if it escalates, then nobody will be free. And they thought I was joking. At the end of the day, what happened? Many of them see up to date, we are now in 2018. Anytime they start a look, the water prophesied in that 2001 is still happening. I tell you, that is the situation, because when you see what happened during the Civil War, you will never pray in this country, let there be any crisis, any problem. Please, anybody, anywhere, let us face reality and ask God to give us the grace so that we move forward. We should stop this issue of this man is from this one. Thank you very much. Have a pleasant day in Abuja. Mr. Yori, you are welcome. You look take away.
Thank you very much, Mazi Okoroafo from Abia State. Thank you very much for calling in and for your kind words as well. It's on an unnecessarily, you know, what is the grammar now? I would say it's just going on and on. The thing is just dragging on, and we need to just nip this in the bud. But you seem to have said that, well, what is remaining is some home truths have to be told.
Yeah.
You know, spades have to be called spades, and that's what you think is the main problem.
Yeah.
That is what has been lacking for a long time. People, their approach is the ostrich approach, pretend as if nothing is going on, whilst people are being killed, and there are a lot of lives being lost, and in many cases, the Fulanis are going for what are reprisals, which means they themselves too are being killed. I think the president needs to rise up. I cannot repeat that enough.
Your last, you know, thoughts.
Okay, thank you for that.
Very, very briefly, please.
Oh, okay.
Because just about 10, 15 seconds.
Okay. Okay, my last words here. One, we arrive at the conclusion that this place should be declared tourist state for people. Two, the ranching should be embraced. And three, the Mr. President should send military operations to defend the Benue community, not the police.
All right, then. Thank you very much.
And lastly,
lastly,
the Mr. President is fighting corruption. Therefore, he should look at the corruption both in ethical and moral aspect, not the physical aspect of corruption. Because as the coordinator of Movement for Anti-Corruption and Good Governance, because if you're fighting corruption, there must be a moral justification of what you are doing. So we have the moral and the ethical and the physical aspect of fighting corruption.
Okay. Terence, very briefly, please.
The thing is very simple. These people are terrorists. The world over knows. Declare them a terrorist group, reinforce your armed forces around the vulnerable areas, and this thing will end. By the time you declare them as terrorists, and then arrest the leadership of Mayati, that is coming out freely to come and tell people, I killed, but they are moving as free as I am.
Okay, thank
so
you very
it's
much,
only in Nigeria
okay,
that I
I
do a press
really
conference
have
and
to
say I
wrap
kill
it up.
people.
The only thing I'm going to do now is I just have to sign you guys off. Thank you very much, Terence. Also, thank you very much, comrade. Colonel, I also have to thank you. Right. I have no leeway at all. True. My apologies. So that's our program today. Thank you very much. And also thank you to Jones Hussein, who held on all that while. Much, much appreciated. We'll be back tomorrow, God willing, with a fresh edition of the program. I'm Yori Folarin. Bye-bye for now. Thank you.